Okay, thank you, Evnia Ben, for the introduction. Once again, you are welcome to the fifth knowledge sharing series of the American Society of Safety Professionals Nigerian chapter. Today, we'll be having our discussion on safety is not by accident, a case study of Paul O'Neill. And the person who will be taking us with this presentation is Mr. Shitu Shita Balogun, SSB for short. So I'll be going straight to the next item on the agenda, which is reading of the speaker's profile. So Shitu Shita Balogun is a seasoned safety professional with a Bachelor of Engineering degree, mechanical, and certifications in occupational safety and health from the Institution of Occupational Safety and Health, IOSH. SSB has a proven track record of success in implementing and managing safety programs across various industries, with previous impactful roles in the promotion of a safer and healthier workplace in organizations like GZ Industries Limited, Nigeria Premier Aluminium Beverage Can Manufacturer, Olam Nigeria, that is Crown Flour Mills, Format Nigeria Limited, which is a member of the Tropical General Investments Group. He was the previous country HSC manager for Premier Feed Mills, a member of the FMN Group. And I also want to interject here that Mr. Shitu also managed me while serving in this capacity. SSB has a strong commitment to workplace safety. He has dedicated his career to preventing accidents and injuries. He is passionate about promoting a culture of safety and empowering employees to take ownership of their safety. He is currently the Regional Health Safety, Environment and Quality Manager for Transport Services Limited, managing over 15 client contracts in the West region by developing, maintaining, and implementing an integrated management system such as the ISO 9001, 45001, 14001, and 39001. In line with global best practices, managing multiple locations and contracts across these industries, the oil and gas, mining, aviation, construction, and FMCG. He has had his national and higher national diploma in industrial safety and environmental engineering from the prestigious Petroleum Training Institute, Bachelor of Engineering from Kwara State University, and a mini MBA from Tekidia Institute, USA. His professional certifications include, but not limited to, General HSC and HSC Level 3 from ISPON, NEBOSH IGC, IOSH Managing Safely, IOSH Managing Sustainably, ISO 9001-2015, 45001-2018, and 14001-2015 internal and lead auditor certifications. He has NEBOSH Process Safety Management, and he also is a ProQual Level 6 NVQ Diploma Scholar in Occupational Health and Safety, amongst others. He is a certified member of IOSH UK. So with a resounding round of applause on the comment section, please bid me welcome to Mr. Shitu Shita Balogun. I will stop sharing my screen to allow you to share your screen and start your presentation, Mr. Shitu. Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Abano. Am I audible?
Loud and clear, sir.
All right. To the leaders and colleagues on the call, good evening to all of you. Good morning, wherever you're listening from, and good afternoon from the rest of the world as well. Thank you so much for, I'll call it the flattering introduction from Abano. And first off, I would like to thank the leadership of ASSP for bringing me on board to, want to make some comments, because I call it just comments, because I am very, very sure that the numbers of expertise that we have on this call right now, we have leaders of industries, we have people that are more competent and more authorized to, do justice to this topic that I want to speak about. So I see this as a great opportunity, and I would like to thank the ASSP board and every members for deeming me fit to come on board to speak about this very topic. So Abanom, I'm going to be sharing my slide. Please kindly let me know as soon as it's up.
Okay, so it is up. You need to put it in presentation mode.
Slideshow, yeah. So okay, so I'll be doing that just in a jiffy. All right. So how many minutes do I have, Abanom?
You have about 30 minutes to
30 minutes.
do the presentation.
Okay, so I guess I've spent 2 minutes already. So I'll just delve into the meat of the moment. So once again, good evening to all of us on the call. And I really need not to really say much any longer. So it's quite an honor to be here to speak to you that are experts in the field of occupational health safety, ESG and sustainability, as the case may be. So I want to welcome us all. And I would like to quickly say that this is not going to be a technical session. I know some of us on this call are already expecting, top-notch presentation. This is just more like what I call the show me ways of implementing a truly sustainable health and safety management system that have been tried, tested by some of the leaders in the industry who are not even an occupational health and safety professional, as the case may be. So we are going to be going on this journey together, like I said, and this is going to be a very engaging one. So I wouldn't want it to be like I'm just the only one steering the wheel. So we all are in this together. So I would like to ask, and Abanom, you might want to just help him manage the chat box. So I would like to ask everybody on this call, upon saying this very topic, what was the thing that came to your mind? Like, safety is not by accident. So if we get 2-3 response, just give a descriptive, should I say, words of what you actually thought this was when you first saw it. Abanom, please let me know, because I cannot check the back end. Let me know what the responses are. Okay, so while we wait for that,
okay, so Mr. Shitu, we have a comment from Mr. Rashid Adejumo, said safety should be the bedrock of every organization. Then Susan said safety is intentional.
Intentional, nice, okay. Okay, both are quite very correct, very correct.
We also have Mr. Lufemi Abiodun. He said you don't achieve safety excellence recording too many accidents.
Okay. I've not really seen anybody that really hit the nail on the head. Let's try. 2 more comments and we are good to go. 2 more comments. I have some very interesting prizes to give out. 2 more comments.
Then Mr. Yekini Kolawole said safety is not by talking, but by doing.
Yeah, quite close. Do we have the last one?
Okay, I don't know if it's a he or she. And what's Wita says safety is practical actions. Then Adedeji said safety deals with consciousness.
Okay. But unfortunately, nobody come close. So safety is not by accident. What it simply means is I think Susan got it quite close by saying must be intentional. So safety is not by accident means you don't just achieve safety. You don't achieve it. It's a whole lot of investment, being intentional, and be ready to, invest like the time, the money, the resources required for you to achieve a truly sustainable health and safety management system. Okay, so this is just for us to quickly set the baseline. As they used to say that statistics don't lie. And when we see statistics, we can be able to resonate more properly about what the scope of the problem is, what's the size of the problem that we all are battling with as an occupational health and safety professional in our various fields. These are very staggering statistics. I am not going to, be looking at every one of them, but I'm sure we all can see my slide. But the one that is quite very, very visible that I want us to really, look at very keenly is imagining that we have 1.8 million working people suffering from a work-related illness, of which 75,000 workers suffering from work-related stress, depression, and anxiety. 473,000 workers suffering from a work-related musculoskeletal disorder. So this, comprises of tissue problem, strains to the muscles, sprain to the tendons, and all of that, and so on and so forth. So when you check these very infographics, you're going to be saying that the largest that we have is still musculoskeletal disorder. So each and every employee that we have in the workplace, according to Health and Safety Executive accident statistics of the United Kingdom, states that this infographics is actually depicting what the size or scope of the problem is when it comes to work-related illnesses and injuries or harm that happens in every workplace. And we can see the highest chunk here is musculoskeletal disorder, followed closely by mental health, then respiratory issues. We also have issues of cancers, being exposed to chemicals that could cause carcinogenic ailments and all of that. So this is a very, very serious call to action for each and every one of us. Yes, the world has not really adopted so much of health and safety management. And each and every one of us on this call. Yeah, I also want to acknowledge the fact that there are some non-health and safety persons that might be on the call. And it's good to have you guys on the call. Whether you need to also appreciate what we do at the back end when it comes to ensuring that people come to work on a daily basis and return back home to their family safely. So health and safety in the workplace are a paramount importance, as underscored by sobering realities that we can see in line with these statistics and the infographics that I've just displayed. So HSE accident statistics provide a comprehensive overview of workplace incidents, ranging from minor injuries to fatal accidents. It is important that we analyze this data. And why are we analyzing them? Because we want to be able to determine what is the approach that we are going to tool in ensuring that we manage effectively the health of our workers in every workplace. Work-related injuries and illness lead to absenteeism, decreased productivity, and increased healthcare costs, ultimately affecting the company bottom line. This is where I'm going to. So I would like to say at this point that every business, right? Every business is being set up to make profit. Let's face the reality. Yes, all of us understand that perfectly. And some of us as professionals have not still been able to connect that dot where health and safety should be sitting on the table when it comes to driving and implementing the profitability and productivity in which every businesses are being set up for. So like I said earlier, businesses are being set up. Businesses are set up when a certain organization identify a certain pain point and they create solution in order to solve that very particular problem. So what do they use? They use technologies, they use people, you and I, they use tools and all of that. But don't let's forget that the number one reason that organizations are being set up are because they want to be profitable. Yes, every other thing can come. So what our mindset should be taking us to be is, how can I use my health and safety skills in order to drive and derive the profitability at the end of the day? And that is what it should wake us up as health and safety professionals in the middle of the night every day, especially if we've not really gotten it right wherever we find ourselves. I'll move to the next slide. So safety is not by accident. We all know that safety can be counterintuitive. So the counterintuitive aspect of safety is it can be, should I say, opposite what a common sense should be. And that's why, we are always saying safety is never by common sense, because if safety is by common sense, trust me, there will not be numbers of incidents, injuries, accidents that we are still recording in workplaces today. So how do we get to goal zero? Getting zero accidents is a desirable goal. At the same time, focusing on an accident numbers may lead to underreporting. So Today in the business, we have fantastic KPIs, matrices that have been set by organizations, and they use number to track them. However, either leading or lagging indicator, the truth of the matter is when it's not being managed well, it could lead to underreporting, because when you let your workers, your workforce understand the fact that they have to achieve a so number of KPI for them to be able to, have access to so reward or recognition. Trust me, what you are going to be recording from that very moment will be either over-reporting or under-reporting. Why? Because they know that for every lagging metrics, they need to keep it down. And for every leading metric, they need to skyrocket it. So it's a normal human psychology. So you see people formatting or formulating reports, safety observations that does not really, drive improvement when it comes to health and safety management system in every organization. And this is why we need to be very, very careful with numbers, because it can either be for us or be against us. So most accidents are caused by unsafe and unsafe behaviors, but trying to fix them directly through training or punishment often leads to temporary compliance. So today, organizations have come up with policies, procedure that speaks to, reward and recognition, positive reinforcement, and so on and so forth. All of these are very nice, very good, right? But if care is not taken, what it leads to is temporary compliance, because people will only do what you expect them to do based on the reward that you've set that you're going to reward them with. So the end goal will not be zero goal any longer. It's going to be on that bag of rice that you promised the winner of the most reported safety observation at the end of the year, right? It's going to be on, that voucher card that they are gunning for at the end of the week if they are able to meet some certain safety metrics or KPIs. And this is why we see mostly in organization, temporary compliance are what we see. And what really matters in health and safety is what you do when nobody's watching. I've always said it. You cannot come to me today and tell me safety first. I'm not going to allow that from you. I'm going to ask you to show me parameters, show me the statistics, show me what you've done, show me how you've been able to drive visible fail safety leadership in order to, instill that your safety first and safety always, either on you or on your team members. Behaviors and results are the most visible part of health and safety implementation. I know all of us will agree here, right? And the result and behavior is very, very visible. You see people either acting safely or acting unsafely, right? And the result of it is either accident or they return back home to their family safely. So these are the two most visible part of every health and safety management system implementation, as they are often the limelight, so everybody can see them, just like the petal and the stalk of a flower. So this is going to be an analogy that all of us can be able to resonate with very clearly. Looking at a flower, you do not really see what is inside the soil that is really making the flower to germinate. What we see and admire from outside rather, is what? The petal and the stalk that are looking colorful, looking beautiful. We are not really thinking about the context and the content of what actually germinated the stalk and the petals that we are seeing. And that's what health and safety is all about. So the petal and the stalk can be positive or it could be negative, depending on what? The content and the context, which is inside the soil that we all cannot see. All right, so as OHS practitioner, we must understand that working on petals and stalk gets us nowhere, because they are only outputs that are easily seen. Focusing on them distracts both attention and resources from addressing underlying systemic issues. So, like I painted for us before, you could see a very positive petal and stalk looking, beautiful, then you keep watering it. But if you fail to really address from the pot itself, from what is making the petal and the stalk to germinate beautifully, trust me, both the petal and the stalk will wither before you know it. So, as health and safety professional, what do we do? What we do is simply work on the root, right? If the roots remain unchanged, any effort to improve things at the workers level will be largely in vain and not successful. So I want us to all see the root as what? The leadership that we have in our various organizations, because they are the root. They are the one that have identified opportunity, a particular pain point that they want to solve. And that is why they created a business enterprise. These people are the root. Each and every one of us that they've employed today, we are either the petals or the stalk, right? So it is their commitment as the root, how visibly they are displaying health and safety, how resonating it is for the leaders in the organizations to drive and commit themselves, provision of resources that would determine myself and you as the petal and stalk, how blooming we are going to be, even within the space of the work environment or outside the work environment. I'm just trying to paint a practical picture so that we can understand very, very keenly. So it is very important that as health and safety professional, either you're occupying a strategic level today or a tactical level or an operational level, you need to channel your energy to the influencers in your organizations, which is exactly what Paul O'Neill, the CEO of Alcoa, did. So we are still going to get there, but it's very, very important that I set all of this baseline so that we can understand why that certain health and safety implementation that we have indulged in maybe in the past 1 year, 2 years is not really giving the right result, because we are not focusing on the root. We are focusing on what? The petals and the stalk. Abanom, please, am I still very audible? I don't just want to be talking. I want to be very sure I'm still being heard.
Loud and clear, Mr. Shitun. Loud and clear.
All right, thank you.
Loud and clear, right on.
Okay, so in this context, right, the root of health and safety are the socio-technical factors, which is the culture and the system. Now, who are the people that are influencing the culture and the system? Remember, they are the leaders of the organization. Remember the very popular saying that they used to say that everything rises and falls on leadership. Without leadership, nothing blossoms in any organization. So without committed leaders, system breaks down and culture becomes dysfunctional. I have seen this in my short while of experience as operational health and safety professional. I have seen it, and I've seen the effect and impact it has on both profitability and productivity of the organizations, which in turn drive unsafe behaviors, a common trend found in numerous previously investigated accidents. Hence, great organization focuses on the lower part of the flower. They know that if they get the low part right, the upper half will definitely sort by itself. And that is just the ideology about health and safety. And I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. My candid advice is you need to identify those influencers in your organizations, the movers and the shakers. If you are just channeling your energy to take, for example, people that are at the tactical level, trust me, you might not be able to achieve what you intend to achieve within the certain time frame that you have been able to set. But you need to target a particular person, a particular stronghold in your organizations that you know that when he said he, then everybody in the organizations turns towards that he. When he says Z, everybody in the organization turns towards that Z. I'm not saying it's something that will be easily identified or easily implemented, but you can always walk your way through. Remember, culture, they said, is a journey. It's a journey that you achieve, not just in months. At times, it might even take years, depending on the context of your organization. Okay, so I'll quickly move now because of our time. So everything I've been discussing about, so you can all see it now in this very slide that I'm displaying. So just like a gardener doesn't focus on flower petals and stuff. He spends his time on the soil and the root. He knows that if he focuses on the root, on the input, the output will sort itself out. And look at the picture. You can see the result and the behavior that I painted for us earlier. The result are what you are getting at the end of the day based on the implementation you're carrying out in your organization. Remember, it is the behavior of your employee that will give rise to the results that you're going to get. So if you have employees that are not safety savvy, that are not safety conscious, the result you are going to be getting will be an outright accident and catastrophic event, right? When we flip the coins over, what are you going to get? You know, safe workplace, productive workplace, and so on and so forth. So looking at the system, culture, and attitude, you can see that they represent it, like you know, what we have in the root itself. So unsafe behavior doesn't just happen in a vacuum. They are driven by system, culture, and attitude. So leadership hold everything together like a flower pot. They shape culture and align the system. And this is why we need to, you know exactly where to focus on. And it's been, you know, boldly displayed here. Where do we need to focus? We need to focus on long-term behavioral change and sustainable results. And when we do that, trust me, you'll be able to move from, you know, just compliance to performance. Just like the Quality Week that we are currently celebrating. All right, so I moved to the meat of the moment, and I'd like to introduce to us the man of the moment. This man had been my personal health and safety driver, I must say. Everything he was able to do while he was alive drives me as an health and safety professional. I got to know about Paul Oni some years ago, and ever since then, personally, I've read so much about him, and everything he does is just, you know, quite really fascinating. And I'm sure everybody on this call, if we took our time to actually research this man after this very webinar, you're going to be very, very surprised with what you're going to find out about Mr. Paul O'Neill. So this is Paul O'Neill, and he was the 72nd United States Secretary of the Treasury. But before then, he was the CEO of the largest aluminum company in America called Alcoa. Alcoa is Aluminium Corporation of America. This is a company that has presence in over 42 countries with more than 250,000 employees across the world. So you can imagine that context of operation. You can imagine how big and massive the business is. How many business today has that kind of visibility and that kind of, you know, appearance? So we are going to be delving into, you know, Paul O'Neill. Sadly, he died some years ago, 4 years ago to be precise, April 2020. And it was really sad because he was a safety icon, I must say, a safety icon, one that helped in shaping the whole entire health and safety world, and changes how, you know, businesses look at health and safety, especially in America, as the case may be. So I am going to be playing for us this video. I hope the audio would be clear enough for us to Abanon, please. I'll play the video for some seconds. Just let me know if the audio is okay. If it's not, then maybe I need to do some settings. Are we here?
I can't hear the audio. Maybe you need to either stop sharing and check if that audio feature is enabled. Sound feature.
Okay. So, okay, go to more. You have an idea where that will be activated?
So when you want to share, to your right, you see options and you tick on share sound.
Oh, okay, so when I want to share, so I'll need to reshare, right?
Yeah, you need to reshare. So you tick on share sound, and that should enable the sound from the video to come out.
Okay, I get that. So I'll play it again. Please let me know.
Is safety and ethics.
It is
Abanon,
coming
is
out
it?
now. Yes, it's coming out now.
It's coming
so you
out.
can start
Okay,
the
thank you.
Of
video.
this conference is
All right. So thank you. So at this point, I want all of us on this call to please pay attention. It's just a 3-minute video, if I'm not mistaken, and this is where we are really going to get what Paul O'Neill is all about before we really delve into what Paul O'Neill was able to achieve. in line with health and safety transformational culture that he was able to create in Aluminium Corporation of America. So I'll go ahead and play the video, please. Let everybody be on guard. Thank you.
Is safety and ethics. Let me bring a leaf out of history and tell you that when somebody focuses on human values, profits generate naturally. I hope all of you have heard of the famous industry Alcoa, Aluminum Corporation of America. One of the largest aluminum industry with presence in 40 different countries. It's not small, 40 countries. Almost 200,000 people employed. That industry was going to the dogs. There's no way, loss after loss after loss after loss, there was no way this industry could come up. The board of directors decided that we need to breathe back life into our industry. So let's bring in a new dynamic CEO who would take care of the industry and bring a huge change. Get ready for the surprise. They roped in 1987, they roped in Paul O'Neill. Go back and check the facts. Paul O'Neill. He came in as the CEO. The first meeting of the board of directors, everybody is hoping, the investors are hoping, everybody is hoping that this young dynamic CEO will turn the fortunes of the entire Alcoa. You know, they were all expecting huge chiefs. They were all expecting a great lecture. They were expecting a presentation. They were expecting facts and figures of how we can breathe back profits, profits, profits. The first lecture by the CEO, Paul O'Neill, to the board of directors was less than 10 minutes. He came without papers. He got up and he said, "My prime concern for Alcoa is safety." Does it ring a bell? Mr. President, does it ring a bell? He said, "My concern for Alcoa is safety, supreme safety. I have found that because of injuries and lack of safety, every 100 days, 2 days are lost in the factory. I want to bring it down from 2 to 0. That is my goal. There is no other issues today to be discussed. It's just safety." Suddenly one guy from the board, he raised his hand and said, but what about the profits? He said, "My only profit is safety. Thank you very much." The meeting is concluded. Straight away, some of the board members, they went back to their investors and they said, "God, we've got a hippie in the room. He's crazy. Nothing can happen." He did not just make this speech, he righted it off with special laws and sub-laws. He said, if in any company there's an injury and it takes life, by default that manager is suspended. If any of my little factory, if there's an injury when a worker has to lose days because of that injury, it's serious, tell me, I personally will go there and look after him. All the days that the worker misses, his wages should be doubled. And that wage should be cut from the manager. Whosever fault it is, I don't want injuries in our factories, and it creates a feeling of safety. He went on and on and on. He created a system. And in the factory where there are no injuries, I will raise the wages equally for the entire factory floor. You know, to everybody's surprise, all the little people working on the floor, they got a feeling that there's a guy at the top and he cares about our lives. There's a guy at the top and he cares about my individual life. The commitment grew, injuries decreased, and they say in the first year after he took over was 27 billion,
27 billion.
all because of the measures he took on safety. He proved to the world that there are profits in values. You may grow in numbers, but he proved to the world that there is a guy at the top who cares about the small men at the bottom. It is love and commitment that generates this environment. But sometimes you may have to take difficult decisions, because I want to keep to this idea of safety and ethics. You may have to take decisions that actually burn your pockets. You know why most of the industrialists don't go for the safety measures? Because it's too much hassle and it's too much money. And most of the people in India, we feel that we have enough population, so life is
I'll have to
expendable.
stop it here now. Because
It
of our
isn't.
time. But I want to believe we all had a capture of the most interesting message that is just being passed. Abanom, am I still audible, please?
Loud and clear, Mr. Shiton.
All right. So basically, this basically is just to show all of us on this call that there is value in implementing health and safety in our various organizations, and making it a single entity to be focused upon is much more than enough, to drive both productivity and profitability, as the case may be. It's so unfortunate that most organization leaders today have not really understood the nitty-gritty of health and safety and how it contributes value to the business. Paul Oni was not a core health and safety person. He was a CEO, just like it's been painted, but he understood what it takes to drive health and safety management system to profitability. And we all could hear that in just 1 year, he was able to accrue $1 billion for the organization. And by the time he was leaving, at the end of his 12 years tenure, he was able to, the net worth of Alcoa was $27 billion. So all because of the stance that he took on safety. It's not just only him. We have the likes of Cynthia Carroll of Anglo America Industry as well, and many of them that have actually used health and safety transformational approach to drive business continuity and business profitability. And this is what we need to start preaching. Enough of risk assessments and all of that. We really need to understand the business perspective of the business for us to be able to. Nobody will call you to come and sit down on the round table. You have to carry your chair, right? Carry your chair with you and go to that boardroom and let them understand the value that health and safety can bring in order to drive the profitability that business was actually set up to achieve. Our time is fast spent. I'm going to be very fast moving forward. We've heard so much about Paul Oni, right? And this is just to showcase one or two KPIs and metrics that he was able to drive. 5 years later, Alcoa share price increased 7 times what it was previously, while accident frequency rate was halved, just because of him bringing in the concept of health and safety. Now, how does he actually achieve this? So this is actually a typical one of the incidents that happened at one of the Alcoa industry in Arizona, USA. We can see the picture of the site. The incident description, I'll just go straight to the point. The new worker was observing an extrusion machine in operations when it got jammed. This is typical for all of us that work in manufacturing organizations today. There are times when workers need to make dangerous intervention in order to keep the production line running. So he climbed over the railing to pull out the scrap material, and when the material was released, the boom of the top of the machine started rotating again and hit his head, killing him on the spot. So what was, and this was shortly after Paul Oni resumed as the CEO of Alcoa. So what was his approach? the first thing that Paul Oni did was to, call for a stand down involving all top leadership team members in the meeting. And he said it to all of them that this death was caused by him, that he killed him, that they all killed him. Unfortunately, his words left audience very stunned. So they felt no less sorrowful, but they could not even understand how they would be responsible. Why? Because they feel none of them was even at the location where the incident occurred. So how could it happen that they are the one that killed the employee that unfortunately died? And this very heart and attitude can still be found in various workplaces today when we check very well. So clearly, as we all know, the worker had violated a safety procedure. And this was what Paul Oni was able to explain to them. So as a leader, he said he did not feel the team has communicated the expectations on safety clearly enough to every workers. Also, he also make reference to the employee onboarding, ongoing training and refresher processes that may not emphasize enough the importance of safety sufficiently to all employees. So how very robust and comprehensive is your employee onboarding program today? Are you just using one size fits all? Are you using the same onboarding program for maintenance team and production team, and even HR and other functions that happens to be support team? Again, as a fallout from the incident, it is pretty clear that the culture at the plant was flawed and dysfunctional, because as at the time when the employee climbed over the railings, there were two supervisors that was watching him do without stopping him. So what does this mean? Silence at times means consent. So meaning they were the one that even taught him how to do that. Don't forget, this employee is a new employee. So, and of course, he must have been seeing someone does that, or he has been encouraged to do that. And that is the reason why, he also took that line. He further supports his point by mentioning that the supervisor that probably taught the worker how to remove the jam, as it was unlikely a new worker would have made the decision on his own without some sort of backing and encouragement from his superior. So this very incident, I'm very, very sure that if we all should search our mind and so very well, we can liken this to one or two incidents that have happened, either in an organization that we've been able to work before now, or even currently. You see, failures of both active and latent barriers. You see supervisors and managers directly encouraging at-risk behaviors in the workplace, and nobody is being held for it. So in following its 12 years stint in Alcoa, he was able to create a safety system. He fostered a robust OHS culture through the demonstration of strong, visible, fail safety leadership. As we all know, so there are things that Paul O'Neill actually did, and they are still being referred to today, even in the whole of America. So he was able to write different laws and sub-laws. He was able to, in fact, there was a time that he gave his phone numbers to employees to call him by themselves. If peradventure they are being asked to, carry out any function or any task, that they have that moral justification that is going to be quite risky for them to carry out. So this is going to another length in driving health and safety. The number one person in the organization, gave that mandate to each and every employee, from top leadership team to the frontliners, that what he wants to drive is core safety and nothing else. So this just takes us to some of the excerpts that Paul O'Neill proposed during his time, his quotes and prepositions, which is quite very, very interesting. So for every organization with true potential for greatness, every day, the organization's employee must be able to provide straight answers to the following hypothetical questions without any reservation. I have tested this, I've tried it, and trust me, it's working wonders. In fact, this had made me to identify those truly sustainable organizations that are worth working with. So what are the three questions, guys? The number one of the questions are you being treated with uniform level of respect and dignity every day by everyone you encounter in the workplace, irrespective of your hierarchy, your race, your gender, educational attainment, and other discrimination qualifiers? Abanom, I I want people to go back to the chat box and tell me, let them just raise their hand or tell us that they've been able to come across organizations with, this kind of qualities or characteristics. That's the number one question. So regardless of your educational attainment, regardless of your gender, if you like, you have PhD, you are a janitor, you are a CEO, are you being treated with dignity and respect every day by everybody you come across in your organization? I'm looking forward to what the response will be on the chat box. Then the number two, which is very, very interesting too. Are you provided with required resources, tools, equipment, personnel training, and encouragement so that you can make meaningful contribution, with emphasis on making meaningful contribution, but more emphasis on giving meaning to your own very life? And this is why I color-coded it red. So as health and safety professional today, we find ourselves waking up 4:30 a.m., going to work and coming back, facing traffic, coming back home, collect salary at the end of the month, and that's where it ends. Is this job actually making meaning to your own very life? And this can be, traced back to what value you are now bringing to that organization. Trust me, guys, if you are not in an organization that gives meaning to your own very life, the possibility of you influencing anything in that organization is very, very slim. Take that from me. It is extremely slim. No doubt about that. Because when you have an organization that gives true meaning to your own very life, you are going to be able to drive so many implementations. You are going to be able to give 101% of yourself in order to achieve the overall objective and goal of that organization. Why? Because they've provided you with resources and tools that makes you to make meaningful contribution, and in turn now gives meaning to your own very life. And I'm going to paint an example. Some of us today, after Friday, straight to the club, straight to casino, because we feel organization does not give us that quality lifestyle that we want. So we are looking elsewhere to see where we can, balance that work-life balance and be able to, manage our mental health. But there are some true organizations today that they have recreational activities, they have, employee assistance programs that are quite very, very apt and, very fascinating for an employee to drive the kind of life that you want to live. Then the last one, do you get recognized adequately according to the value that you are providing? So some of us have been able to even meet 300 million man-hour without one LTI. We've achieved, gigantic projects that, in fact, expatriates cannot even achieve them. So how have you been rewarded in line with the value that you are able to provide for the organizations? If these three things are missing, trust me, the potential for you to categorize that organizations as an organization with the true potential for greatness is non-existent. That's just it. Then to the next one, go above and beyond safety should never be seen as priority and core value, but rather a precondition. So, there was a time we say safety must be priority. Safety is the number one priority in our organization. Then we shift to no, safety is no longer a priority, rather is a core value. And why is it a core value? It's a core value because for priority is also competing with some business bottom line and all of that. But for core value, what that means is it cannot even be influenced by either internal or external forces. And that is why you see organizations now switching from, safety is no longer a priority, but they are core value. But from Paul O'Neill, I was able to learn that safety should not even be both priority and core value. It should rather be a precondition. A precondition such as you need to go to work, right? Then you have to wash your mouth. You have to bath, right? You have to spray perfume. You have to enter your car. You have to drive to work, right? So if we can be able to drive safety to that level, trust me, you can be sure that your operational context is on auto run. Every stakeholder, every shareholders meeting must be preceded by safety moments. Yes, I know some of us are doing that today, which is very, very important. But we need to be very careful because the moment that safety moment is being done, they drop safety and they switch to core operations until the meeting or the discussion will end. safety will never even come up again till the end of the meeting. So that kind of mindset is actually antithetical to building a very sustainable health and safety management system culture. So safety happens the same time an operation happens. And that's why we need to see how we can cancel that mindset of safety first. It is not safety first and you drop it. Safety happens at the same time when operations are ongoing. So it should be embedded, a process-based approach, as is being aligned by some of the ISO standards. Safety must never be budgeted for. This is quite very, very interesting because, today, some of us feel for you to be able to, drive safety adequately, then they must provide you with budget and all of that. But one very interesting thing that Paul O'Neill did in his 12-year stint at Alcoa was he never budgeted for safety. Anything. Havana, please, can you help me mute? Please, can you try and mute the person? Okay. So, like I'm saying, he never budgeted for safety. So anytime a safety incident comes up, they fix it immediately. So you never budgeted for safety. He said he didn't want to budget for safety. When safety issue arises, then fix it immediately. Statistics have shown that organizations that does well with safety targets possess high potential to do well in other business bottom line. And this is not even a lie. This have been proven beyond reasonable doubt. And I can even start counting organizations here in Nigeria for you that prioritize health and safety. And due to that, it has a direct influence on their profitability, productivity, shareholders, cost, and all of that. With leadership, so much can be achieved, and without it, nothing gets lifted or improved. You can always take that from me. Finances follow excellence, hence should not be set as an objective or target, rather a consequence of being more excellent at what you do. So what this means is finance should not be, we make $2 billion last year, now we want to make $30 billion. The moment you set that, you are already putting people to be in a high pace to achieve a certain target and objective. And that could be antithetical to the safety culture that you want to try and build. So rather, it should be a consequence of what you failed to do or what you intentionally did. And then everybody will sit right and know specifically what is being expected of them. Leaders are meant to set unarguable goals and aspirations for organizations they lead. Leaders must be capable of taking away excuses. So another key thing is, for you to be a sustainable leader, you have to be able to take away all form of excuses. And how do you do this? Not by flogging your downliners. You have to be able to provide for them system structure, enabling environment that it's going to be very tough and hard for them to even come up with an excuses. Take, for example, you have a full complement of your manpower in your organization. So the potential for anybody going on sick off, the potential of people getting over-labored or overworked, you've been able to remove it. I just cited that as an example, but there are so many other examples. I'm being fast because I know our time is fast spent. A great number of organizations that says people are our greatest asset only have that written on paper. And that's why you see on policies today, right? When you go to organizations and read organizational policy, in fact, you just feel like, let me turn back and, safety, this is where safety lives and drink water. So I don't even need to enter. But trust me, it is the other way around. Safety is never in their DNA. People who work for Alcoa must never get hurt while at work. He made that a standard. And trust me, that was what everyone in the organization, from the leadership team to the frontliner, drove for good 12 years from his inception as the MD/CEO of Alcoa till when he left. This recommendation is a recommendation for all of us. You can just go on YouTube and just type Paul O'Neill of Alcoa, the irreducible component of the leader. You have so many to gain from this, because it's going to change your thinking concept, and you definitely know that we do not really have to really focus on just leadership, but also followership, because there are so many things today that have been said on leadership. And we forgot that those leaders are being made from the followers. So when we are able to improve the followers, definitely the followers that become leaders tomorrow will have those characteristics and features that we needed in a leader. And this basically is going to be my last slide. So this is the man of the moment, like I said earlier, Paul Oni, and he said it from the first point of call when he was addressing the shareholders and stakeholders. I am not talking about any other business bottom line. I'm not talking about finances. I'm not talking about net income, net worth. I'm not talking about shareholders' investment and all of that. What I want to talk about is what? Workers' health and safety. Indirectly, he is also talking about that, but he didn't, flash it to their eyes to say, oh, we are going to be making 27 billion USD by the end of my tenure. No, what he used was the concept of health and safety. So through prioritization of workers and workplace safety, Alcoa chairman Paul Oni was able to increase the company's market value from $3 billion in 1986 to $27 billion and $27.53 billion in year 2000 when he was leaving, while net income increased significantly from $200 million US dollars to $1.484 billion. We can see, and this is just because of one simple context: prioritization of workers' health and safety. He also said that an informed, engaged, and motivated workforce, which is the employee, will always drive a safe, profitable, and sustainable business. That is just it. He tried it, he managed it, it was tested, the philosophy was right, and at the end of the day, we could see what he was able to do. Safety does not just happen by chance. It is an intentional act of daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual activities that set the standard for operational and safety excellence. And this is why I was asking us earlier when I started my presentation that what do you think safety is not by accident means? So this basically is what it means. When you stop being intentional about safety excellence and focus only on operational excellence, you are inviting risk and danger into your work environment. So it is crystal clear that health and safety management system is a powerhouse to reckon with when it comes to driving organizations' profitability and productivity, as the case may be. And this just speaks to some of the references that I consulted during the course of coming up with these few slides. That is going to be all from me. Abanom, I would like to hand over the mic back to you. You can take it away. Thanks for listening, everyone. It's actually been a very, very entertaining evening. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Attention.
Thank you, Mr. Shitu, for that wonderful presentation. I'm sure with the comments on the chat box, great stuff. Indeed, safety is not by accident. Thank you for the presentation. Wonderful presentation, which was excellently delivered, and lots of applause and thumbs up for you. Thank you, Mr. Shitu, for the presentation. So we're taking a few questions. So if you have questions, comments, kindly raise up your hands. We'll see if we can take 3 hands, and we'll also look at the chat box to see questions that are dropped. So if you want to speak, raise your hand. We'll call you to ask your question, make your comments. Okay, we have one person, Fosai Benedion. Please go ahead. Please keep it brief considering our time. Just go straight to the questions you want to ask. Thank you.
Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now loud and clear. Please go ahead, straight to the point.
Okay. I currently work for an organization that is run by Indians, and these guys, they are the top management. They literally take charge of everything. Now, I'm the safety manager there, but the issuance of PPE is by the store manager, who is also an Indian man. Now, I have done everything possible to make them understand why PPE is strictly for HSC or OH safety personnel and safety officers and managers to handle. But they insisted that the store manager is the one doing that. What else? What approach again can I use to convince these men that PPE issuance and PPE compliance is strictly safety, not the store manager's duty? That's all.
Okay, so Abanom, I'll just jump on it. Mr. Efosa Igbenedion, thank you so much for your question. So I'm going to be asking you some questions, and I'll be glad if you can just provide an answers to them. So I would like to know today, the policy, your overall health and safety policy that you use in your organization, right? Can you say that it is adequate and it is in line with the context of your operation? Please, I need a yes or no question from you.
I will say yes and I will say no.
Okay. So I'm going to be taking the no because I expect you to actually say yes. And I have my reasons for asking Mr. Efosa. And
Okay.
another thing I would like to ask you is, do you have today in your organization, do you have guidelines, procedures that is just strictly for PPE management, PPE usage, PPE administration, and all of that? Do you have a very robust and comprehensive one today?
I met one.
Okay,
yes.
You met one.
Yes.
Okay, you met one, and you feel is adequate, right?
It's not adequate.
Okay, good. So where you are going to be starting from is for you to review and revise that guideline and procedure, right? And get the number one person in your organizations to have a signature entrenched in it. And why am I saying that? Policies and procedure are senior to everybody in every organization. Yes, people might not want to, acknowledge that, but I'm saying it today that your policy is not your meat. Your procedure is powerful than each and every person in every organization. Why? Because it is a legal document. It is when you get into problems and, they call upon you to provide them with, suitable objective evidence that you've been able to, develop to drive your management system. That is when you start understanding how important those policies and procedure, especially if it's being signed by your number one person. So I would like to straight back to your question. So you don't need to drag with the store manager, please. Don't drag with him, right? Don't drag with him. I want you to take it chunk by chunk. And where I want you to start is make sure that pre-qualification and pre-selection of your PPEs is being handled by you. From there, develop checklist procedures that anybody that is coming to supply PPE and all of that, this is the minimum requirement that they must meet. What are you trying to do there? You are trying to make sure that they are referring back to you, coming back to you to ask you, Oga Efosa, how do we do this? Oh, is this sufficient? So you are already, putting yourself in that perspective for them to understand how critical it is for them to comply. And you're not just going to just do this with, a general, you have to go and look for guidelines, citations. I can share you some when it comes to PPE and lump it into your minimum requirements that failure to do this is what it's going to cost. You're going to see all of them back off. I think we can take that out of here just for us to also give others a benefit to ask questions. I don't know if that answers your question, Mr. Efosa.
Yeah, you answered it. And I would love for you to share the guidelines for me.
Why not? Just chat me up on LinkedIn and pick it up from there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Efosa. The next one we have is that of Mr. Yekini. Please go straight to the point with your questions, comments, or feedback. Okay, before we have Mr. Yekini back, have another hand raised, the favored one. Please go ahead with your questions, comments, and feedback.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Mr. Shitu, thank you for the wonderful presentation. So my question is, it's a whole lot when you actually work with an organization that there is no safety culture, and so I fall in that kind of organization where when I came in, there was no safety officer, no safety department, just more like I want to build one. And just because of the project they're doing that is kind of huge, and they have to have a safety international kind of a project. And when I came in, it's a whole lot of struggle. They came up with policy. Till today, the policy has not been signed. And there was a time an incident happened. There was something, but it could have resorted to a serious, fatality, but it didn't happen. And that actually changed the mindset. I was able to now talk to the management. We use that to talk. And now it's just more like, oh, there's a little green light for me to start. I don't even know where to start from. So in a situation like mine, when I know somebody said, okay, just even start from the policy. And today, my laptop was bad. They don't even provided me laptop to even work on documents. It's a whole lot. I don't even know. I don't know if maybe I can speak with Mr. Shitu outside there. I know, but I just, like right now, I don't even know where to start from. There are a whole lot of things going on. And I have to create a management system from the scratch. Right. I don't know where to start from.
All right, Abanom, can I go ahead?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yes, please, you can go ahead.
Okay, Favor. Madam Favor, I must say, I'm also still learning, yes. And I'm quite really sober with the condition that you just described. And I must say that kudos to you, kudos. And I'm sure you are moving mountains, and you'll be able to. So yes, just like you said, we can take it outside this call and discuss, but for the sake of every one of us on this call, so I want to say you are not alone. You are not alone, and this is not just a problem for only you. There are so many persons that are facing this very kind of turmoil that you just described. If we should give people, the floor to speak, you'll be so surprised that yours is even better. So what I'm going to advise for you to do is basically for you to focus more from the angle of compliance. You made mention of something that when they had an international affiliation, then they have a project, you saw some level of compliance. If it is possible.
It's just more like we are just trying to do rub and shine, like addressing office.
I get. Yeah,
so
definitely.
Like professional, but not deep down, I know.
Exactly. So what you are going to do, my own advice would be for you to ensure that you have basically more of those I used to call them fresh pair of eyes that comes to your facility to look at your areas, your gaps, advice on best practices and things that you need to do, develop it in action-based corrective action plan with timeline and responsible person being allotted to it, send mail every Monday morning and every Friday as reminder. Those things works wonder, I must say. However, if all of this does not still work, which I know is going to work, trust me, you can be rest assured that if anything go wrong on that site, Madam Favor, you've been able to do the needful as the expert on that site, meaning you've taken care of your own site. So this coupled with some other health and safety strategy, I am very, very sure that you'll be able to, drive the compliance that you want to see at the end of the day. So we can always talk after now, just for us to be able to strengthen on our knowledge and harness into each other's strength. It's fine.
I really appreciate that.
Hold on. No, it's no problem.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shitu. I just picked a comment from the chat box from Dr. John Jia, said you should get a matured mentor like Dr. John Jia that would guide you through the process. Mr. Shitu has also offered his hands of support to you to see how you can put that through.
Yakini, Dr.
Yeah,
John Jia. So you can also check Dr. John Jia on LinkedIn too. He's reachable there and he would guide and assist.
Else.
Okay, so we'll talk on this.
Just reach out to Abanom. Reach out to Abanom. Abanom will connect you. I think that's safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Yakini, can we have
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thank you, SSB, for that amazing presentation. It's indeed a great learning opportunity today. Quick one. My question. There are been a lot of arguments on the reporting near miss, unsafe art, unsafe condition as a leading or lagging indicator. So I want to know based on your school of thought,
where should we align on that? And considering the fact that we do have issue like object or targets like zero accidents, and so for people not to misuse that opportunity, because we have been seeing situations whereby people will go and dodge or fail to report. And sometimes we also set benefits that if you report 1 million, this thing, will get this. So how do we balance? What strategy can we put in place under and over reporting? So how do we balance that? Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Kenny, your question is multifaceted, right? And I'll just pick the one that I can remember. So you started from near misses. So near misses can either be the two. I've gotten into some fantastic discussion with some experts in this field, even on LinkedIn, and near miss can be the two, depending on what your organization is driving. But before I'm going to give you the final clue, I'm going to say that we need to focus more on leading indicators. Health and safety professionals on this call, go and clean your slate on lagging indicator. Focus on leading indicator, because what leading indicator will do is it is going to improve your lagging indicator when you focus on them. This has been tested and tried many times. Recently, we have an international auditor that comes all the way from UAE to evaluate our level of compliance in my organization, and I must tell you, the implementation that he gave to us when it comes to, delivering your leading indicator, and you might not even see any lagging indicator again. It's quite really fascinating. So I would like to, beckon on each and every one of us on this call, concentrate more on your leading indicator, and what you're going to see is going to be triple times compliance that you never even expected. Because the more people do leading indicator, you are taking them away from lagging indicator rather than the vice versa, right? So please, that is very important. So back to the safety near misses. So near misses can be double-edged. So it can be a leading indicator and it can be a lagging indicator, depending on what you want to drive. But from what I said earlier, you agree with me now that my response to you would be that leading near misses should be treated as a leading indicator and not a lagging indicator. Remember, it is not just asking people to report, though. That's where some of us miss it. But what is the quality of reporting that they are coming with? How is that even driving the compliance that you want in the first place? I can report 1,000 EMAs in 1 month, but what value is it bringing when it comes to, driving the positive culture in our organization? And I'm going to leave you to that. I'm sure you get what my response is already. Yakini.
No, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, so we have a final one from Dr. Yusuf Magui, one past ISPON president. You can unmute your mic, sir, to speak. Please be brief considering our time, sir.
Good morning. Sorry, good day. I'm sorry, it's not Dr. Yusuf Margo, it's Yatakir Yusuf Margo. Thank you for the opportunity. My question is basically about compliance. I think it's actually related to what the table has said. I'm currently working with some Turkish personnel, experts.
I'm really struggling to hear you, Mr. Yusuf Magui. Yeah, I'm struggling to hear you. I don't know if it's from my hand, but I'm struggling to hear you. So, Abanom, can you hear him properly?
And,
it is same from my end, sir. So if it's possible to type in your comments on the chat box so that we can take it off from there. So we'll just move to the next on the agenda, which is the presentation of certificates. So just give me a few seconds to come up with my screen. Okay. So for the presentation of certificate, I'll be calling on Madam Buki to help us do this. Over to you, Madam Buki.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for that wonderful presentation, Shitu. It was a good presentation and a very enlightening one. And on behalf of the American Society of Safety Professionals, and for your presentation in this knowledge sharing series on today, the 16th of November, I hereby present this certificate of recognition to you, and also to inform you that you should keep your doors open. So whenever we come back to ask for you to share your professional experience, you grant us that audience. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate it. Of course, my door is always open. Thank you so much. And I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Shitu. So going to the next on the agenda, which is the update from ASSP Nigerian chapter and ASSP Global. I don't know if we have a member of the Nigerian chapter executive to give us updates on this. Okay, just before we have someone from the Nigerian chapter to give us updates, just to let those on the call know that the ASSP Nigerian chapter now have call for papers. Okay, Dr. John Jai is in charge of this. I don't know if you can speak to this. Dr. John Jai.
No, go ahead, Abano. You are doing it right. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. So this is also to inform us that the next ASSP Nigerian Chapter Professional Development Conference for the year 2025 is slated to hold April 10 to 12 at the Lagos Sheraton Hotel, Ikeja. And then the theme for the 2025 PDC is Together for a Safer Nigeria, Innovation, Collaboration, and Responsibility. So there is a call for paper and call for abstracts to be submitted. And this is a flyer, and the guidelines to submit is also on the flyer, and also the deadline is February 1st, 2025. So we want you to, those on the call, talk to a friend to submit the abstracts to be reviewed and to be looked at. Also advising all that they should try as much as possible to make sure that their paper presentation speaks directly to the team for a safer Nigeria. Thank you. I don't know if we have further update from the Nigerian chapter and the chapter update and global.
I think based on the last, I think apart from this PDC. Hello, Jonja.
Go ahead.
It's just what Abana has said, and I think the other is basically this is the key aspect that is we are trying to pursue to ensure that we are up to date with the global requirements, especially for the PDC and for people to respond. I think by next knowledge sharing, we should be able to give a further update on that. Thank you very much. Shitu, thank you for your presentation. This is a very insightful one.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Joseph. Okay, so the next update I have is next week, the Women in Safety Excellence for the Nigerian chapter, that is the ASSP Nigerian chapter, we're having their own webinar. And by the 30th of November, we'll be having another webinar from the Emerging Professionals Common Interest Group of the ASSP Nigerian chapter. So just as you got the invites and flyers for this particular meeting, you also get same for the subsequent two for this month. So we'll be welcoming closing remarks from the Educational Committee Chairman, Engineer Benjamin. If you are still on the call, please give us a closing remark. Okay, for the sake of our time, I want to appreciate all for attending this meeting. We had a peak attendance of 69 persons, and currently we still have 50 persons on the call. It's a wonderful attendance, and thanks to all that honor the call to learn and learn from this wonderful session. So to wrap up the program, we would want you, if it's safe to do so. I think the weather is dark outside, but if it's safe to do so, your environment is bright, you can turn on your video so that we can take a snapshot of the meeting attendees. If it is safe to do so, if you are not compromised, and if all is good from your end. If you are driving, please, you don't have to turn on your cameras. Okay, so I have 3 screens here. I'll be taking the first shot now. Okay, just give me a minute to do this. Okay, so I'll be going to the second screen. And the last. So thank you all for attending, and do enjoy the rest of your evening and the rest of your day for those that are currently outside Nigeria.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Abani. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, that other guy question was not answered.